of people think that cannabis is just for smoking, but when they hear this song, they'll learn there's more to toking. 25,000 different things we can make from it, and if we give it a chance, we'll save the blinking planet. Food, fuel and medicine, necessities for life, a benefit to all of us, I wonder and delight. Within this smelly weed, there's more than meets the eye, so much, much more than smoking, it can cleanse our dirty skies. Cannabis, cannabis, will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis, will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed. Even Prince Charlie has a high regard for weed. He recommends it to MS sufferers who are in desperate need. It's medicinal, it's pure, and it helps to ease the pain. And if you're feeling down, my friend, it'll pick you up again. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis,
Hi guys, time for Hemp Works. Yes it does, and yes it is. And tonight my amazing guest is a fellow oil maker called Mark. Hello Mark, how you doing?
Hi there.
Cool man, been watching your career over the last period of time. You're a very busy man, Mark.
Well, I'm trying.
Try.
Not
Okay,
bad
the
for
question of the day is, do you sleep?
do I sleep? Well, I do suffer from chronic insomnia, so I guess that could be a benefit. But
Oh, good. It's either that or you've got a 48-hour day. You've managed to find out how to get 48 hours in one day. Yes. So, Mark, right, I know a little bit about you. Obviously, you know a lot more about you. So would you like to tell our audience about you and what you get up to?
well, certainly, I've been a patient for over 17 years myself.
Wow.
So I do depend on
patient?
cannabis for my medicine and my soul medicine.
You are a patient for 17 years.
Yes, sir.
So by now, according to some research, you should have grown 2 heads, be total schizophrenic and be completely addicted to a plant. Is that correct?
That's what the authorities like to say, isn't it?
That's what they seem to put out there. And actually, now that you are 17 years into treatment, do you have 2 heads?
I'm sorry.
Do you have 2 heads? Have you grown a second head?
Oh,
after
second
17?
head.
Yeah.
No, I do
No?
believe that cannabis can be one of the things that was responsible for the evolution of man. So I guess perhaps I probably have a few more brain cells.
Ah, that's where they maybe got the data from. And they got slightly confused. Maybe it was late at night, they've been working very hard, and it should have been increased brain cells and not grow another head. So,
Well,
right, 17 years into treatment, no second head. Are you a chronic schizophrenic?
No, sir, I'm not. But it is interesting, though, that understand that things I suffered from was because of exposure to heavy metals many years ago, and it caused me severe migraines and seizures. It also caused memory loss and a number of other different things, fibromyalgia, pain, and I was fully disabled because of it. Cannabis brought me back from that. I no longer suffer seizures. I haven't had a migraine since 2006. I haven't had a seizure since about 2009, when my medicine got rather short. But also in the course of that time, I have seen so many miraculous things. I've interviewed well over 200 patients all across the United States who suffered from a wide range of different kinds of illnesses, from multiple sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, seizure disorder, of course, and many other different disorders, just about every form of cancer. All people who have benefited from cannabis and from using it as, using cannabis therapy.
Yeah, this is why I jest slightly, because as you have seen over your career in your own self and through the patients that you have treated, it seems to be everything that comes from a political party or the money parties that says anything about this wonderful plant that heals so many people and so many diseases and problems. It's all just a pack of lies, isn't it? It's a complete pack of
Absolutely.
lies of what they write. Complete pack of lies. Because this plant, as you know, and I know, and thousands of other people know around the world, it is most probably one of the best medicines that mankind, womankind, childkind has ever had.
Absolutely. You know, cannabis is
Absolutely.
the perfect food.
But yeah, food. It's food. Food for life. Absolutely. Yeah. So why be hungry? Why suffer from disease? You
This
don't
is
need to,
true.
do they? They don't need to. Nobody needs to. You take this medicine, and it seems to fix up pretty much everybody. And occasionally a few people die because we're born to live and we're born to die. But that bit in between with some of the problems that we've got at the moment, that PLC medical treatments just do not, they don't understand it, and they certainly don't cure it, and anything they seem to offer up causes more damage than the original problem you had.
Well, it's really important that people understand that cannabis will never fit a pharmaceutical model.
No.
Cannabis therapy is holistic. It doesn't have a penalty as prescription drugs do. You
Yep.
cannot overdose on it.
Nope.
So it gives parents for small children a rare opportunity not to be afraid, to be able to treat their children without fear, knowing that at the very worst case scenario, the child
Yep.
will sleep and wake
Yep.
up feeling much, much better.
Yeah. And that is actually your visual practical, that is what you've seen with your own eyes, isn't it?
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
I didn't really start into making oil for critically ill children. That wasn't my intention. It was a learning process for me because I'm an educator, because that's what we do with CP&I is we provide education. I
Yeah.
wanted to know everything I could know about making oil in the most simplistic way so I could
Yeah.
show as many people as possible that they too could do this. In the course of that process, because I was having people donating trim to me and donating alcohol for the process, I had a product. And as soon as I had product, there were people there who needed it so desperately, people who couldn't afford it. You know, here, we live here in Colorado, and here it's so-called legal here. It is not.
Yeah.
It's just highly controlled. But we have more freedom than a lot of other places, of course, which we definitely appreciate. But here, there were people here who came very poor,
Yeah.
but their children in such desperate need of medicine, and the medical community basically couldn't offer them anything. And so we were given the opportunity to provide medicine to the parent, and then the parent would dose the child. And we saw children, little Nova, which really was rather remarkable. Little Nova, she had been having seizures for the better part of half of her life. And
How
with
old
her
was
first-
she, Mark? How old was she?
She's about 3.5 now, I believe.
Okay. And when you first started treating her, how old was she?
I didn't.
Okay.
We've been treating her now. I haven't been treating her. What I have been doing is providing oil to the parent. It's very important that I word that correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I
So
said, it's
how-
not legal here.
So, to your knowledge, how long was that? How young was the child when she first? Okay, what I'm trying to establish, I was having a conversation last night, and I was trying to find out the youngest person I'd heard of being treated and the oldest person. Yeah, and the youngest person I've heard of so far, and I believe it to be reliable information, was 2, and the oldest person I've heard of so far, from reliable information, was about nearly 70. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Now, I'm sure there's younger and I'm sure there's older, but that's the 2 ends of my bookmark, if you understand what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Well, I have been contacted by people with children younger than 1. I have not participated in any way with them as of yet, though I would, from what I understand, the child's needs are quite dire, and I would most certainly do anything I could to help. As far as patients, I know of patients considerably older, but as far as ones that I'm currently working with, I only work with a very small group of children and adults. But as far as directly providing oil, it's just like I said, the services that what I'm trying to do, I'm doing individually, even apart from CP&I, as I have to out here to function legally. So my hope is that the work that I'm doing, that others will adapt to that as well and begin producing oil for those who need it as well. That's the goal. And it's not just a goal for here in Colorado, it's a goal for across the nation. And I'm currently...
Can we expand that to across the world, Mark, please?
Because actually, thank you for correcting me, because I have been. Actually, I've been talking to people about oil making in other parts of the world as well. Yeah. So thank you for correcting me on that one.
Yeah, I'm just lucky enough to fortunate on this radio network that I've seen to get to a lot of other countries. We travel around the globe on this one. And I've certainly recognised in my 6 months with the station, talking to Australia and Iceland and South, the list is pretty endless. It's pretty much the same problem and the same story everywhere we go. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I wanted to tell you, though, I was reading your mission statement. I was very impressed. I was just commenting to my partner, Regina, that how similar your views are with ours. And I appreciate that a great deal.
Yeah, I think because we're coming to that, Mark, because maybe after a long time, I'm also a patient at a time. I was in stage liver cancer, and this marvelous medicine cured me from a certain death. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I've been there too, and it just seems to me that one of the major problems is because when you get ill, therefore you can't function, and when you can't function, it is very difficult to earn money, and when you can't earn money, you can't buy medicine. And in the real world, this medicine is basically free because it grows everywhere. Yeah. And once we get our head around that and stop all this political shenanigans, then really nobody should have a want for herbal medicine. Yeah. So I think that's why our mission statements are quite close, because at the end of the day, after being through what we've been through, doing what we do, that really is pretty much the only conclusion you would come to, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. This medicine, it needs to be available to the public. It needs to be available to everyone. And the best way for that to be achieved is by showing the world that our most vulnerable are getting better, are being healed of diseases and problems that conventional medicine still cannot tackle.
Yeah.
And realizing that a small child under the age of 5, under the age of 3, is thriving because of cannabis. Now we're not just talking high CBD, because high CBD seems to be the big thing in the press right now.
Yeah.
The cannabis that I produce is high THC.
Yeah.
But no, these children aren't getting stoned. These children are getting better. They're not seizing anymore. They're not convulsing anymore. They're beginning to learn to thrive. And that's a really important thing for people to understand. We need to get away from this mentality. We're thinking of people getting stoned. I have people say, "Oh, you're getting those babies stoned." No, I'm not getting babies stoned. That's what conventional medicine was doing. I'm talking.
And of course, also as well, can I just interject on that one? That's what breast milk does. Breast milk contains cannabinoids. It is designed for the species gender of human, Homo sapien. It is designed for the Homo sapien species child. When the baby is first born, most probably one of the first things it will do will be to suckle on the mother Homo sapiens breast. That breast milk contains cannabinoids. So why did the designer put cannabinoids in breast milk if we're not designed to take it? If it is unsafe for babies, it would not be present in the human body to be transferred. It is a species gender plant.
Well, it's the interesting thing about cannabis is you have phytocannabinoids and you have endocannabinoids. Endocannabinoids are, of course, produced within our bodies.
Yeah.
The phytocannabinoids are similar enough to function as a supplement, but more than that, THC actually stimulates the production of more endocannabinoids, and also stimulates the growth of new endocannabinoid receptors.
Yep.
So it's absolutely, our species has most definitely evolved to appreciate this plant in a special way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because why would you have a system that big? Why would it be so conclusive? And why would mothers produce this necessary chemical compound at birth. It's obvious that we need it. And when we take it, I take it, Mark, you take it, we know hundreds of people that take it on a regular daily basis, and it makes them better.
Absolutely.
It doesn't do all the things that people, or it's not even people, it's governments say that it does. It just doesn't do it.
You know, Steve, when I look at these small children, though, and understand, under the age of 3, already having a open prescription for Oxycontin and morphine.
Absolutely.
And it's all right to give a child, an infant, morphine and hydrocodone, but we cannot give them
in my world.
toxic
Not
substance.
in my world. It's not in my world. You know it. I've been lucky. I've been connected quite closely with the canna mums, and that means for me, canna mums means all mums that are looking after sick children. I've been lucky to be very close to Renee and Brandon the Brave, and I've been very close to Landon. Landon is just like my mate, and to watch and to be part of what he's been through is incredible. He's 4.5, 2 years clear, was on all those awful drugs that you're mentioning. He was on he hadn't eaten for about 7 or 9 days at one point where they were giving him that horrid chemo. Now that he's off the chemo, now that he's off the pills, and now that he's on the cannabis medicine, that young man has got a future in front of him.
Little Landon? Yes.
Little Landon, you know it. And of course, he's a star, but he's not isolated. There is many cases out there, isn't there? No? I've sat and spoken with Sierra and little Landon. He was running and playing at my feet, and I was just amazed at how healthy he was. And at that point, he was scheduled for another chemotherapy treatment, and it was just I could sense the fear that was in his mom's. You know, the thought of having to take and dose that poor child with more poison when he was thriving already from the cannabis is just unconscionable. Yeah. I mean, nobody should suffer through lack of this medicine. But come on, it really hits the heartstring, doesn't it, when it's children? No?
Yes, it does.
I can put it down to me, like, if I don't get my medicine 57 years on the planet, I've had quite a good time, so what? But when it's a little boy like that, when it's little children, Brandons and Makilas, and, there's just so many of them. How can people even think about denying children that medicine when it works so effectively? Time and time again, isn't it? Anyway, Mark, we can take the first break now. We're going to go and pay the radio station, bring on our lovely sponsors, who we love, because they keep the radio station going.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill.
Legalize it, yeah.
Relax. And burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com, or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
A miracle to life. Say goodbye to trouble and strife.
We're back. It's time for Hemp Works. We're coming from the UK, and I've got this guy. There's many people I look at Facebook and follow their careers. Mark, I consider to be a total professional in the field of cannabis oil medicine making. Mark, in the UK at the moment, we're just going through a bit of a renaissance. A lot of the newspapers have started to pick up on this. We've just done a few shows, and it seems to be the word is now the cat is out of the bag in the UK. A very high percentage of the UK public over the last 48 hours, 72 hours have become totally aware through the news media and a few other things that have happened in the UK about cannabis as medicine. One of the things they're all asking is, how do you make the medicine? What is the medicine? As you as a professional, can you explain to the UK what you think this medicine is and how you make it, please? Because that is the big question in the UK at the moment. They know it's medicine, but they want to know just a little bit of in and out, how to do it. And I've been watching how you do it. I think what you do is amazing. Yeah.
Well, what we're actually talking about here is, the flower, the plant itself, the whole plant. Of course, it is medicine. It is medicine. But what happens is, what we're doing is we're making a concentrate. We're taking it and we're reducing it down and creating a concentrate. And that's what the oil actually is. The process that I use is actually an alcohol extraction, and if you Google this on the web, you're going to see the same process 1,000 times over. The basic process, which basically amounts to, is what you're doing is you're flushing the cannabis material with alcohol. The alcohol dislodges the terpenes and the oils and all the many ingredients that you find in cannabis, and hopefully it goes into the alcohol, and then it's a process of boiling the alcohol and evaporating the alcohol off, and when you reduce it down, the essential ingredient is oil, and it's a black oil. This is the basic process. Now, understand there are many different ways of doing the same thing. You can obtain a very clean colored type of oil, a golden oil. You'll hear a lot of different processes that achieve that goal. There's other mediums solutions you can use. You'll hear about butane. You'll hear about other different things. I believe the alcohol process is perhaps the easiest and the safest for most people, and that's why I try to educate people about that particular process. Now, the way that I do it, I also take and reclaim a sizable amount of the alcohol in the process as well. And alcohol is very expensive, and consequently, the more you can conserve it, the less expensive the whole process is. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, excellent. Yeah, and I must say as well, Mark is one of the, when you're in this movement or this industry, you get sort of like look at people's art. I mean, it might be through the internet, but you get to sort of like, you see, oh, that looks nice, and that doesn't look so good, or whatever. And Mark's always looks absolutely excellent. I personally, I use the magic button. I've made that the alcohol, and that the alcohol method, like the RSO method, that's the one that actually cured me. But I like to use it. I like oil infusion. I'm a cosmetics maker, so that fits better with me. As you say, there's many ways of making it, and as long as they're made correctly and properly by people that really care and love what they're doing, then normally the medicine that comes out the other end is good medicine. Yeah, whether it's through the oil extraction, whether it's through the butane, whether it's through oil infusion, whether it's through magic butter. There's lots, and there most probably, hopefully, be some new ways soon, because there's so much going on in our industry, isn't there? New information coming out all the time. We really, I often wake up and think, well, what's today going to bring? what new information have we got that is great?
The important thing in this, though, Steve, is that people make it safely. And that's the important thing. Because when we're talking what we're talking about here, we are talking about things that are combustible. Alcohol, of course, is. I've heard about people actually boiling alcohol in their stoves in their kitchens, and that is not something I want to hear people doing, because I don't want to hear about anybody getting hurt. There are a lot of people gotten hurt extracting, with butane, and I know Rick Simpson is pushing the butane now, and for people who really are skilled, I think that would probably be good. I would look for the safest means for the average person out there, though. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and if you follow the proper most of the videos are all good, aren't they? I haven't seen really any rubbish ones yet. If you follow the proper protocols by the people that are doing it, you're going to be safe. But just check, especially when you're using gases like butane and things like alcohol, because they can be very combustible. That's what I stick with oil.
Expense, of course, has always been the issue with cannabis. And this is something that I'm beginning to really realize as I have been working with making oil. The vast majority of product that I have donated to me is trim. So it's actually the byproduct. It's actually what a lot of growers have thrown away in the past. But I have been making oil from trim because it's all I had. And we've seen patients are doing better. So what's important is the cannabinoids that are found within the product. And we have to always realize that with cannabis, it's variations on the good. Always variations on the good. It's not good or bad. It's good, better, and even better is really the way we need to look at cannabis. Well, we really need to, because we have to understand that we're not always going to have the very best product available to us at all times. But if we have something available, we can treat illness.
Yeah, because obviously in the UK we don't have much of a growing thing going on over here. It's totally illegal. The government believes that it's got no medical properties, even though we're the home of GW Pharmaceutical. It's very difficult getting hold of any stock in the UK. And I've made stuff from stuff that maybe, and it's worked. Yeah, it's worked. It's helped. So if you can do it with the lower end of the stock, the higher end of the stock you can get hold of is brilliant. Yeah, but as you say, it works, doesn't it?
Well,
something is better than nothing.
Well, cannabis needs to be available to everyone, and it needs to be legal, because the more we're realizing about it, like raw cannabis is a whole nother subject we haven't even spoken on yet. And raw cannabis is remarkable in the treatment of diseases like Crohn's, treatment of any disease for that matter. As a matter of fact, I think it's the perfect adjunct to cannabis oil therapy. But getting your hands on raw cannabis is very difficult. You almost have to have a grower and someone who can grow large amounts for you. But it's just vitally important that we understand and realize this whole plant is medicine.
The whole plant is medicine, definitely. I've always wanted to look at the root as well, Mark. Nobody's really looked at the root yet. I've been in this industry for nearly 21 years, and I've always felt there's something in the root. When you look at the breakdown of the root, on paper, there's nothing in it. But you know what this cannabis plant's like. It sort of hides things away that maybe sometimes we don't find. But I've got a funny feeling there's something in that root. I think it's going to be like another ginseng at some point.
It's availability, Steve. It's having enough product available to where you can actually turn it into medicine. Just like I'm talking about with raw. With having raw leaf, you have to have enough, and the oil.
We was at a talk the other night by Professor Nutt. I don't know whether you're familiar with him. He was the drugs. He runs the independent drugs monitoring thing, and he was actually the representative of the drugs professor for the UK government. And he told them that cannabis was safe and cannabis was a medicine, and they refused to believe his 5 years research. And he's actually, I think he's in the top 5 neoplastic surgeons in the world. He really is top of the tree. And in the end, they sacked him because he wouldn't change his report. And we was at a lecture with him the other night, and he was saying exactly the same, like about how cannabis is medicine. And one of the interesting things he was saying, because it's in Schedule 1 as a research facility, a world-renowned research facility, if he wanted to phone up and order 10 ton of cocaine, he could. If he wanted 10 ton of heroin, he could. He could have any drug that he wanted except for cannabis. So therefore, he can't research it, because he's not allowed to have it. So straight away they say, where's the research? And he has to say, well, I'm not allowed to research because it's in a Schedule 1, Class 1, therefore it has no medical properties. And then the answer from the other people is, well, if it's got no medical properties, then therefore you can't research it, so it can't be any good. It's like a chicken and egg story going round.
Well, certainly.
Yeah, until we get access to it legally, we can't properly do all the research on it.
Are you familiar with the federal patients here in the United States?
Pretty much, yeah.
The
I
IND.
wish I'm an expert, but I'm pretty up to speed with most of it. Yeah.
They're all friends of mine. I've interviewed all 4 of the remaining patients. I've interviewed them all on camera. You can find their interviews on my YouTube channel. George McMahon, in particular, is a very close personal friend of mine. As a matter of fact, you have to understand too that now there are only 2. 2 of those patients are no longer on the program because they no longer have a physician. Their physician retired. So after 20 years of receiving cannabis from the federal government here in the States, they can no longer access because of a formality. Now, the interesting thing, understand, that program was sponsored by NIDA, and their whole purpose was to try to disprove cannabis as medicine. Yet all the patients being given substandard medicine, by the way, they all thrived. They all did better. It's because they didn't understand that it is the whole plant. They didn't understand that even though you could trash the plant, even though they cut the buds off and gave them stems and seeds, they still thrived.
Wow. That's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
It is, and it is very remarkable. But it's also it's such a terrible shame to you because my good friend George McMahon he's there in Iowa, and I'd love to find a way to get him here so he can have the medicine he needs. The man is walking history, and certainly does not deserve to die miserably in Iowa. He needs to be here where he can be protected and he can have the medicine he so desperately needs.
Well, but in the real world, Bart, he should actually be wherever he is. At the moment he's in Iowa. Iowa should have the sense to understand that this is medicine. It's got nothing to do with politics, because us, the patients, say it's medicine, and it works for us. So we're all good proof. We're lucky enough now to have some of the best researchers and scientists and doctors in the world who have all been researching this, and they've all gone, it's good. Yeah, I mean, Gonzalez and Sanchez from Madrid, 14th of January. What was the last thing she said in that film when they're showing it, the molecular biology thing, and she said, this is medicine. Yeah, I remember, I know my stuff. This is the top job that I do. This is medicine. So the researchers and the doctors all say that. All the evidence proves it's medicine. It seems to be globally the only people that are standing in the way of it are politicians. What right have politicians got to decide our healthcare? None.
Well, actually, you're stepping into a different realm there, because the reason why cannabis was made illegal, the reason why it's continued to be illegal, is all because of financial reasons. Has nothing to do with public health. Absolutely nothing to do with public health. As a matter of fact, public health has gone down considerably since cannabis has been removed. Since cannabis was removed from the pharmacopoeia, we need cannabis for the health of the people.
Exactly. Going back to the original thing that when we're born, our mothers produce it in the milk, and so do all the other animals on the planet. That's how important it is at birth, and mothers give it to us.
Absolutely. All mammals have an endocannabinoid system.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody on the planet, we all need it. So how can it be the only... It amazes me at the moment, because also I come from the agricultural background, Mark. The only plant that can possibly really look like it could save our souls and help repair our environment, just as Jack said all those years ago when he said in The Emperor's Wears No Clothes, it is the only plant that can most probably now save our souls, and it's illegal.
It's
we're going to a
lemon
like death. We're going to hell in a bloody handbag. You've got environmental problems, health issue problems, financial problems, military problems, religion, all these amazing problems that really are going to take an awful lot of sorting out. Yet the easiest one to sort out is release the weed. Free the weed. That's not going to hurt anybody. That's going to really help everybody.
It's interesting you mention that. Yeah. When you talk about the environmental issues, understand that what made me sick some 20 years ago was environmental. It was exposure to heavy metals from where I lived. I lived in a place where the principal industry was lead smelting. It was in our soil, it was in our food, it was in our air, it was all around us. Well, that's why I became sick. Well, one of the best things that cannabis is known for is removing heavy metals from the soil. There's nothing I would want more. If I could go back there and clean the soil that made me sick and made all our neighbors sick and so many other people I know who suffered and died because of the toxins there.
And there's no need for it, because now we know the information about hemp, how it restores the body and how it restores the land. And as you quite rightly pointed out, it will eat heavy metals out of the land, to the point of it even works at Chernobyl. It took the strontium-137. Now, I'm not a scientist, but you don't get much more heavy than that in the heavy metal scale. That's the one, all right? Strontium-137, that's the one that lasts about 10 billion years, all right? Shelf life. That cannabis plant ate that out. That put it inside of a body. Therefore, once they had it inside of a body and not in the dirt, they could roof that body, which was the hemp plant. They put it into some magnetic bombardment, and it took its shelf life down from about 10 million years to something like about 10 minutes. So transferred it into something, and it was the body of the hemp plant that absorbed those toxic poisons, and then through magnetic bombardment, they could be neutralized. So you can clean the dirty land with it. Whether it be lead, whether it be lead shot, whether it be strontium, whatever it is, this is a restoration plant. Not just for the human being, but for the planet. It works. Hello. So come on. It's like, as I say, we're lucky that we got a plant that heals people, children from 2 till 90 and beyond and below most probably. We got a plant that can really revive our economy, not just in the pot shop. When they get hold of this as an agricultural plant and it starts replacing the petrol, the paper, the fibre, the fuel, the plastics, the economy will just absolutely blossom as it's meant to, as a sustainable economy. Right, well, we're going to take another break. I've just done my waffle now. I've had my rant for the day. Sorry about that. I can go off on one. Take it away, Casper.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP cardholder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor, so come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill.
Legalize it, yeah.
Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special, 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com, or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Rationality, liberality, open out your minds. The sun is closing in and we're running out of time. There's no point in worrying, no wondering what to do, cause the answer's in the colour green, it's shining through and through. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis, cannabis, cannabis.
It really is. I'm going to give a couple of shouts out. First of all, to the Raw Fest people, where we went on the weekend. That was one of the best fests I've ever been to. I've decided. It was great. Well done, you guys. Amazing people there. Big shout out going out to Sativa Bags, because they make the best hemp bags in the world. A big shout out going to the Hemp Works Charity UK.org, because they are absolutely amazing. Big shout out going out to the Patients Alliance group down in Brighton, because they've just started and they're making great inroads because they're all over the UK press everywhere. A big shout out going out to Mike Cutler for standing up and showing your face because it looked good. And the news media has definitely picked up on your story, Michael. So brilliant. I know it's a trying time for you with television and papers and all sorts of family problems going on, mate, but well done. Mark, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? Anybody you'd like to say hello to?
I'm sorry, for me?
Is there anybody you'd like to? Yeah, you.
Oh, well, all the great patients out there who've been following CPNI and been supporting our work. We have over 1,500 members with CPNI. We became a membership organization in August of this past year, and just since then, we've got about 1,500 members in just about every state in the U.S. and about 10 other countries, and growing. And we are about education.
Yeah, exactly. We're about education. We're about teaching people. And yes, Absolutely. The numbers are growing. Why are the numbers growing? Because guess what? There is so many sick people out there that are sick to death of using PLC medicine and watching their families suffer and die. And now they've seen this cannabis medicine of us being restored and regenerated. Cannabis works, people. If you ain't tried it, Google it. Go and meet somebody that's done it. I
am convinced that all autoimmune disease is man-made, and some people would probably scoff at me saying that. I'm not a doctor, but I truly believe it. I believe that all autoimmune disease can be treated with cannabis. Because cannabis, takes and affects the endocannabinoid system, which touches on every function in the body. Yeah. So this is a natural way to treat illness as opposed to dangerous poisons, prescription drugs, which I believe are also a large reason why people are sick in this world, is because of prescription drugs. We have been fooled. We've been cheated. We've been lied to.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree. Wouldn't it be nice? Free up the cannabis, let's have maybe 2-3 years, right? And then review it after that. Because maybe what I'd like to see is the research to try and disprove you wrong about what... I actually agree with you, Mark, yeah? So the research, if any, if they're going to keep trying to go all this stuff that you grow 2 heads and it called, which we know it doesn't, let's see the research then try and prove us wrong. Let's see that. What you just said, spend some money to try and prove that wrong. I don't think they can. I totally agree with you. That 90% or a very high percentage of these diseases that we have today are man-made, and as Dr. Robert Melameda points out, endocannabinoid deficiency. This is what we're suffering from.
Well, you understand that the United States government has known that cannabis could kill cancer since 1974. That's a well-known fact. Yet, and look at the 2003 patent that was taken out on cannabinoids. There's been a considerable amount of talk about that of late. The 2003 patent not taken out on cannabinoids. United States government, i.e. Health and Human Services. You can look at it, the assignee for the patent. You can read the 27 pages in there where it talks about how cannabis, this is in 2003, could be effective and is effective in the treatment of Parkinson's disease, stroke, and other illnesses. It's written right there in the patent. That is a legal document. That is the United States government basically perjuring itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got the same in England. They're saying that cannabis hasn't got any medical benefit, yet they support a company that grows it and says that it has got a medical benefit, and it's the same plant.
Absolutely.
So how can they do that? Like, with one breath, it's a medicine, and in the next breath, it's not. It's just total stupidity. And as you say, you go back to that date that you just give, in the UK, the Queen Victoria of just over 100 years ago was prescribed it. The Queen of England. The Queen that was the Queen during the height of the thing called the British Empire. Not just some old queen like we got at the moment that don't give a monkeys about nothing. She was a queen of a massive empire, and she demanded that she had cannabis medicine. And the medicine that she had, Mark, was very similar in the method that you're using with the alcohol. That's how they extracted it for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing new. And if it's good enough for a Queen of England who basically ruled the world, then it's good enough for us.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the Queen of England, because what you're talking about there, your women's issues, you're talking about hormonal issues.
Yeah.
Cannabis has been found very effective in treating. My partner could talk on that much better than I could, but the very fact that, and that's one of the things we're realizing with when we're talking about raw cannabis, is the hormonal benefits of treating with cannabis as well. So, but what are we talking about? We're talking about things like breast cancer. We're talking about things like ovarian cancer. These are kinds of issues that we're talking about treating with this non-toxic substance. This non-toxic,
non-addictive, non-addictive, non-toxic, non-addictive. And if you really want to go to the other part of it, the only complaint that people ever make is something about this being stoned. As I keep pointing out to people, when I was dying with 48 hours left to live and feeling quite miserable about life, actually being stoned was quite nice. I looked forward to being stoned when I was on death's bed.
It does have a therapeutic benefit. Now,
it does have a very therapeutic benefit.
We haven't touched on post-traumatic stress. I personally suffer from post-traumatic stress myself, though I never was in the military. I have interviewed a number of veterans. Understand, here in the States, we lose veterans to the tune of 26 veterans per day, every day, to suicide. Understand, cannabis is perhaps the single best treatment for anxiety or post-traumatic stress. Why are we denying even those who serve our countries? You know, I'm sure England has their share of veterans suffering after what this terrible ordeal we've gone through with Iraq and Afghanistan.
And Mark, it's not just military. Post-traumatic stress in New York. Everybody in New York, that was post-traumatic stress. People in car accidents, post-traumatic stress. It doesn't have to be a military situation to cause that. And in today's world, there's loads of things that happen that cause post-traumatic stress. We've got all this stuff going on with children at the moment that have all been raped and pillaged in our country. It looks by our own government. The people in power have been raping and pillaging our children. It's like those children have grown up a whole lifetime of post-traumatic stress. So this post-traumatic stress, of course the veterans went out and fought for whatever right. Everybody should have the right to basic medicine. And as we've pointed out, non-effective, it's effective, it's non-addictive, I can see it. I just can't work out why people can't see it, what their problem is.
Well, it's an unfortunate way in which we as a people look at medicine. We see medicine as pills. We see medicine as toxic substances. And it's difficult to get to a point where you understand that real medicine is actually food. The words which hold true now, thousands of years, so many years later. You know, let your food be your medicine, and your medicine be your food.
Absolutely. Holistic medicine.
You can't cure with poison.
No, as we found out, you cannot cure with poison, and I'm living testimony to that because I had a year of her poison and it kills you. A few people might survive it, but it ain't many. It's a very low percentage. It's a lot lower than what people think it is. And the other thing is you're talking about post-traumatic stress. We've got this other thing at the moment that's running rampage called cancer. That's 1 in 3. Now, under World Health Organization or World whatever you want to call it, an epidemic is classed at more than 1 in 10. And cancer's running at 1 in 3. So it's the silent epidemic that people are too frightened to talk about because they knew there wasn't a cure. But now we can talk about cancer because we have a cure. There's nothing to be frightened of anymore.
I followed a guy with terminal melanoma. We became good friends. His name was Brian Shitwood. And actually, his terminal melanoma was caused by the chemotherapy for Hodgkin's lymphoma. A lot of times, people don't talk about this. Doctors don't tell you that 2 out of 3 of the leading treatments for cancer actually cause cancer. You know. But anyway, I actually had the opportunity to photograph cannabis oil being applied topically and killing melanoma tumors. This is real medicine. Most remarkable. As a matter of fact, two of the leading hospitals in St. Louis, Missouri, SLU Hospital, St. Louis University Hospital, and Barnes Hospital, people from both witnessed what I saw with cannabis oil killing melanoma tumors. I'm just curious why the hospitals aren't bragging about that and shouting it from the rooftops. You would think that any facility that is supposed to be about healing would be wanting to, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Well, we had this with Sierra, with Landon and Sierra Riddle. They couldn't believe it that their hospital wanted to actually give Landon chemo when Landon was clear of cancer. They still wanted to give him chemo. Instead of promoting, saying to the other parents that he's on this cannabis treatment and we cure him, they totally denied that. They stood in total denial and wanted to carry on giving him the chemo. And they was trying to say that it was the chemo that cured him. And Sierra was saying, no, he ain't had the chemo. I've not been giving it to him. This is cannabis oil that's fixed him. That's right. This is it. They just keep closing down. That they're so trapped in this box they're in. It's terrible. It's criminal.
It's unfortunate because, Landon's one of the lucky ones, just like
Absolutely.
the other young people who've come out here. We've spoken to so many refugees, both parents as well as adults who come out here with terrible conditions, so many cancers, and the lucky ones are the ones who make it out here. We speak every day to those who can't afford to make that trip.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Absolutely. I'll get kids in the UK. Parents phoning me up asking for this medicine, and I can't supply them because I haven't got it. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, one change in the law in the UK, and tomorrow we can start supplying this to whoever needs it.
Absolutely.
And in the UK, believe it or not, Mark, we don't even have to change the law. Our Home Secretary has the right just to go, before she goes home from work tonight, to reclassify it. She was given that permission years and years ago.
What's the problem?
What's her problem? Exactly. What's her frigging problem? Yeah.
Is it going to take
the Queen. She doesn't have to ask Parliament.
Can I ask you, Steve? Is it going to take somebody in her family or herself to develop cancer before she comes to the realization this could be medicine for everyone else?
If she did, she would be on our side tonight, wouldn't she? Because that's the way it works. But she's making all these people suffer in the UK when she don't have to. She can go to bed tonight, and she could most probably. I know I might jazz it up a bit. But if she'd done that, she's most probably saving thousands of lives in the UK tonight. She can go to bed going, I've just helped thousands of people be alive, from little kids to old people.
The need around this world is so great.
Yeah.
We'll probably never have enough oil, enough medicine to treat everyone who needs it. Why?
I'm gonna totally disagree because I'm actually a hemp farmer. Yeah, I'm going to hold you to that, right? You make it legal, and I will make sure that I will grow more than enough to support
I would love that. Right. I would positively love that. Here's another subject.
I'll look at that into the equation.
You mentioned hemp. Here's another thing. Sprouts. We were just beginning to realize the medicinal benefit of hemp sprouts.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Tons.
They're amazing. Tons of it.
There's a hormonal benefit that's found in the sprouts. It's just...
Well, can I do this then quickly? I have posted it out a few times. I might have even sent you one. Once it goes to its first two true leaves, okay? Not the first two petal leaves, the first two true leaves. Once it's got there, it's got all its natural sugars, all its natural carbohydrates. It does become what they call one of the planet's one and only true superfoods, yeah? Also, when it sprouted the first two leaves, by the scientific research that I've seen that's been done, it also does have its CBDs and THC in them.
CBG.
So, CBD, it has the full spectrum.
CBG.
Yeah,
CBG,
it has the full
precursors.
Yeah, it has the full spectrum of cannabinoids in it once it hits the first two green leaves. Not the first two petal leaves, the first two. So, if you sprout your seed to the first two proper green leaves and then juice them, you're getting the full spectrum of all the cannabinoids. You're getting your omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. You're getting all your vitamins, all your proteins, all your minerals. You're getting all your natural sugars. You're getting the whole food package in one.
Preach it.
Preach it, baby. So you don't even have to wait for full-end maturity. Yeah?
Absolutely.
You can get it from the first. You see, this plant is smart, mate. She thought of everything. She's been here so long, she's had time to work it all out. It's her planet. We live on her planet. She was here a long time before us. And if we don't behave ourselves, she'll be here a long time after us. Because we're just coming up as fossil fuel otherwise. Hey, we've done it. Lovely, Mark. You've been such a lovely guest. I really want to stay in contact with you. Nice one, friend.
Thank you.
Good work,
Very nice
brother.
of you. Have me
Yeah,
on. I
nice
really
one.
appreciate it.
Take care. Love you.